wherever you like, whether it be iCloud, Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, etc. The process is basically the same across the board. I am using OneDrive because, again, that is the example provided to us, and it's also the system I use because it is provided to me. And the process of downloading everything to your computer is the same across the board. So that's what's going to be great about this. The big important thing is to make sure that you guys have what you need saved and ready to utilize for future marketing when the new platform launches later in the month. Now, just a quick overview as to why this class is happening. For those that are on the TMAP calls for agents, one happened last week. Those are where our agents can find out updates about products and services that the company is developing for and in conjunction with our agents to help them better their business. If you guys aren't on that call, I highly recommend you join it. It is available in Sales Pro and it happens once a month. It allows you guys to stay on top of what Coldwell Banker is trying to have created for you, and it will allow you the opportunity to beta test some of these programs and voice your opinions in them. So that is huge. And what we are doing all of this for, long story short, because I'm not going to do the job of the team app call, is that the version of Listing Concierge that was developed for launch was done by a third-party software developer, and they created a great piece of software. And over the year, as agents have wanted changes and found things they would like to have implemented into that system, we discovered that the foundation that this software was built on doesn't necessarily accommodate all of the changes to that infrastructure that our agents wanted. So in the effort to better to the needs of our agents, Coldwell Banker has spent the last year developing our own version of that Listing Concierge platform, which will look almost exactly the same. However, from a structural standpoint, it is built very differently. I'm getting a notification about poor call quality right now. I'm sorry to interrupt. However, if I disappear for whatever reason, my phenomenal SSA, Genevieve, is here and will kind of hold you guys over. It's Monday. There's a lot of internet usage going on. And if usually be back in less than a couple of minutes. I digress. But going back, the platform that has now been built by us will kick off, and that is the VNew platform. That is where Listing Concierge and all of our tools will live in. And part of that transition is the old server will no longer be a part of the new one, which means you'll need to save whatever you would need, photos, links, documents, etc., out of that system, so you have them for future uses, whether it be for personal marketing, listing marketing, branding, whatever the case may be. We want to go over how you guys can maintain all of those assets for future use. Enough with all of the introductions. I am indeed recording this class. You guys should see a bar running along the top of your screen that will notify you that that is happening. I post all of my classes to a YouTube channel that you can follow for reference, as well as I will email you a recap with all of our steps included, as well as a link to the recording of this session. Muted throughout the session. I will answer all questions at the end. You can feel free to unmute yourself then, or drop any questions you have into the chat. All that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get rolling. I will be sharing my screen in just a second here. And let's get started. All right, so what we are looking at right now is my desktop, and that's where this whole process will start. And for those of you that have been in classes of mine in the past, I am a big proponent of organization and workflow, and a backup process is just like any other undertaking you will do for your business. It needs to be structured and organized to make sure you don't forget anything, and more importantly, that you know where everything is after the upload is complete. Now, the actual act of uploading everything to OneDrive is fairly simple. What isn't necessarily is the act of everything beforehand. So I'm going to go through some of the best ways to do that. Easiest thing to start with is create a folder on your desktop. I'm going to talk a little bit slower because I keep getting that network notification. But we've got a folder that I've created here. Right click, new folder, bam. And we want to call it Listing Concierge Assets. I'm going to go ahead and drop this over here and just bring it right up here so it's nice and easy for everybody to see. In this folder is where you're going to save all of the assets related to your listings that you want to upload into our storage system. Meaning, let's say I've got 3 listings that I purchased through Listing Concierge, and those are the ones I need to save. So I've got 2 of them in here. I got my 123 Fake Street Santa Cruz and my 234 Blank Street Pacific Grove. I want to save my last one out of Listing Concierge, and that's what we're going to do together as the example. So as you can see here, what we've done is we've created a folder called Listing Concierge Assets, and in that we've got subfolders built for each address that will include all of the assets for that listing within. So everything is nice and organized and ready to go. I obviously am not an agent, but my agent, Willie Eagleton, was kind enough to let me use his account to get into and utilize for this demonstration. So for you guys, we are on CB Desk, and here is where we start from. We're going to go right into the Listing Concierge platform, which for you guys, you get in by going right here. I need to get into my agent's account, so I am going to do that from here real quick. And what we're going to do is literally go through the process just like you will. And I think now is an important time to stress that this doesn't have to be a whole ton of work. I am going to go through saving everything out of this listing in less than a half an hour for you guys. And with that information, you'll be able to do the same process for each of your listings that are in the system and make sure that you got everything you need saved and organized. And time block this like you would anything else. You want to make sure, come on. You want to make sure that you have, you're not banking all of this for one day. I apologize. I can't get into my, seems it's not letting me into my agent's account real quick, but I'm just going to say that it is important because we want to make sure that you have all of this stuff ready and you're not deciding the week before you get all of these emails and notifications about the launch that will be happening from marketing and from Coldwell Banker and all of that. Then you start doing all of your 10 to 15 some odd listings in one shot. Sorry about this, guys. I'm having some technical difficulties. I'm going to try and use a different browser real quick, and give me one brief moment here while I get into my agent's account. In the meantime, what I am going to do is just stop sharing my screen real quick. And I'm going to quickly just log into that session so we can resume the class. And again, I apologize. I am having some, for those of you that are in my pod and we're at my Monday meeting, I am having some technical difficulties that IT and I are currently working through. But I still have all confident ability that I can teach this class to you guys and still get you out of here before 11:35. Just going into this real quick. And like I had noted, right, we've got a couple of addresses already in there. I've only got 3. Let's say you've got 20. You want to make sure you just block off this stuff to do maybe 1 listing a week or 2 or 3 listings a week, and then get it completed from there. And the first thing we are going to do now that almost into this account is we want to create, so we've got 2 addresses that I'd already saved in that folder, and we're going to create our third one create a new folder, and then start organizing and saving everything into that system. Awesome. I am in. I am going to share my screen again. I, again, apologize and thank everybody for accommodating me on this delay. Shelter in place. We're in week 12 and things aren't any simpler. Anyway, bam, into Listing Concierge. This is what it looks like for you guys. You should see your listings. And, you know, if you needed to place a new order, you do that. What we're going to do is go through saving everything for a completed order. First things first, as you can see, I've got this open. I've still got my assets folder open on my computer. Before we start, I'm going to go into new and make a new folder. We're going to call this folder 125 32nd Avenue, Santa Cruz, because that is the address that I will be saving all of our goodies for. I'm going to go right into manage order, and let's go ahead and make this big and start from here. What you are going to look at is your listing dashboard. Now, a lot of the stuff, the saving process is down to one or two different options. I'm going to go through all of that in here. And what we really want to do, again, is you want to think about the listing and what assets from this listing are important for me to save for future use. You don't know the answer to that question? Save them all. Just never have too much of what's in here. If you don't have anything, or if you forget something, or if you choose not to download it, it won't be there once the platform is kicked out and we start on the new one. So it's important to kind of take these notes, take stock of what you have, and think about what you need to keep. Easy thing to start with, and I recommend everybody start, is photos. We're going to go right into the photos right under our listing details. You're starting on the listing dashboard. This is where everything kind of kicks off from, and you can see all of the components of the order and what has been completed and what is still in progress, if anything is in progress. First thing first, let's click on photos. If you used any of the 4 photographers that are in the system, your photos will already be uploaded in here, as you can see. All we have to do is click on this button, select all, and then we're going to click on high res. You want to download the high res because those are your print ready photos. You don't really need low quality photos for long-term storage because no one ever needs no low quality photos. We're going to go ahead and save the high res just by clicking on it. And just like that, you'll see a download start. Now, 8 out of 10 computers will automatically save the item into your downloads folder. Just in case your computer isn't, it is always Windows machines will always give you a little arrow after completed downloading. You should folder, and that'll take you right to that item specifically where it is located, which is for me in my downloads folder. But just to show the long way around, we have downloaded these photos. Now I'm going to minimize this, and we've got our Listing Concierge assets open. So now I'm going to go into my file. Going to go into my file explorer. I'm going to get to my downloads, and then here are my listing photos I just saved. I'm going to go ahead and take that item. I'm going to click and hold and drag the item over to my Santa Cruz, my 125 32nd Avenue, Santa Cruz. And it might be a little small, but you guys should see a little item that says move to 125 32nd Avenue, Santa Cruz. I'm going to let go of my left click, and now that file will have been dragged into that system. And if I click on my folder, I can see in here I've got listing photos already saved. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and close that, and we can move on to the next asset. Let's go back into, that's not where I was. Let's go back into, and now we're going back to the listing dashboard. Sidebar, if you had photography services like a Matterport or a Twilight photography, things like that, those additional items would show up under photography services tab right here. If you indeed had a Matterport, we'll put a pin in that. We'll talk about how to save links in just a moment. Moving on, we're going back to the listing dashboard. Once you are on the dashboard, the process for downloading like the brochure, the advertising, the flyer, those are all the same. So I'm going to show you a couple of them just to make sure it sinks in. But what we're going to do is pick something like the brochure. And once you click on that item, you will see Indeed, it was completed. You have tracking information, and right underneath that tracking information, there is a little gray arrow. That's, if you hover over, we'll say download. Click on that, and you will immediately start to see a download start entitled Preview and a ton of numbers ending in 5546. That's the file for this one. Yours is always going to be different, but you want to check what that file is. And then now, same thing, we can go back into our documents. I can go to my downloads folder, and I can see here is my preview ending in 5546. If I click on it, just to make sure I've got the right item, I can open it and see, yes, this is indeed my brochure. So what do I want to do? I want to do the same thing. I'm going to drag, move it over to 125 32nd Avenue, Santa Cruz. I'm going to let go. And now there's 2 items in here. But obviously, in the grand scheme of things, this does me no good. I have no idea what that means. So I'm going to go ahead and right click. I'm going to hit rename and call this brochure. Easy peasy. Click away. Now that is saved as brochure. I know exactly what it is, and I can move on to the next asset. Back into the system. Back to listing dashboard. And let's do the same thing for the mailer. And it's literally the same thing. Now, the same thing will also go, as I noted, for the advertisement. That will just show you what the ad looks like, whether you bought the gold or platinum or the silver. It won't necessarily tell you where it ran. So if you, for example, purchased the ad and ran it in the Bay Area News Group, it is important to make sure you save the list of all of the publications included therein, or if you were able to snag one of those papers, it's always good to have one, because again, if you've taken any of my classes, you've heard me say a ton of times, people hear with their eyes. If you can show them something, it's 1,000 times better than trying to tell them something. Moving on, I'm going to go to show in folder. I can find that lovely file I just saved. Double click on it. I can make sure it's the right thing. That is my mailer. Drag, move, and let go. Again, same thing. Don't know what preview and a ton of numbers means. Gonna right click, rename, mailer, just listed. And so on and so forth. That is what you will do for the assets that you can download. Now, what about things like your commercial or your Matterport or your website? Matterport, everybody knows, and I think I've got, let's see, I don't have one readily available because this listing didn't have one, but it is a bird, it gives you that dollhouse view and is a 3D VR enabled rendering of the property that you can walk through. That is different from a 3D slideshow, which is a collection of pictures that you can click through. This is something that is virtual reality enabled. Both of those things are links. They aren't videos that you can download for the television and video, or a website link that we can save. Now, there's 2 ways to go about saving links. 1, you can create a Word document that you save from your computer. 2, you can create a Word document that you save from the OneDrive system that we will go over in just a second. Or 3, you can use whatever notes or tools that you want and save that into the folder that works best for you. I'm also going to show you how you can download the video and have it saved, just so you don't have to click on a link and take someone to the At Home in Northern California channel, because again, you should be uploading these to your own YouTube channel, and more importantly, to your own websites and any other place you can create marketing for your own branded business. I am going to, and again, I'll include all of this information in the recap. I'm going to go to this website, y2mate.com. I'm going to take this share link, which I can copy from right here, or you can grab from right here. This is either the same link that you would save or go right into this system and paste it here so you can download the highest quality version of that video by just hitting this green button. And as you will see, a download will begin momentarily, and as soon as that conversion bar completes, you will see a nice that will allow you to save that video for future use on whatever marketing needs you may have. Now that that's done, I can go ahead and close these windows. And as we can see, my video has downloaded. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my downloads. Go into download. I'm going to take that video titled 125 32nd Avenue. And again, drag and drop. Video saved. Now, last bits, right, are links. Let's say we want that property website, we want that Matterport, or we want that YouTube video also saved as a link. Just like where we will eventually be going to upload all of these, starts here on CB Desk. In CB Desk, this is the magic tile we are looking for, Office 365 and email. If we click on that, it will take you to the Office suite, things like Microsoft Teams, which you're using right now to view this class, things like your Outlook email, PowerPoint, Excel, and what we are using, for our example, Microsoft Word. I am going to click on Microsoft Word. It will open Microsoft Word. Here, I can create a new blank document by clicking on New Blank Document. Now that we are in here, you will see once it finishes loading, this looks just like any other Word you use from Microsoft. I'm going to click on this top bar right here that says Document 2 and rename this Links for 125 32nd Avenue. And I can go ahead and just like any other Word document, I'm going to put this in the center. Links for 125 32nd Avenue. And we can start saving them. So I can go YouTube. That has been saved. Let's go website. Let's go back to my Listing Concierge. Let's go back to the listing dashboard. And let's click on property website. It's the same thing you would do for Matterport is you'd go in here and you would grab the URL, copy. We can go back here, paste. Once you have all of your links saved, we can go ahead and go to File. We can go to Save As and download a copy to your computer. This, just like everything else, has now been saved in my Downloads folder, where I can click Show in Folder, get to this item, and then move it into my 125 32nd Avenue Santa Cruz. Now, for all intents and purposes, let's say I've got everything saved. We've got my video, my pictures, my brochures, my mailers, all of the links associated with this, and my advertising. So we are good to go. And let's say for all intents and purposes, all three of my listings have been saved. I've got 125 32nd, I've got 123 fake, and 234 blank. All of those are ready to go. I have saved everything out of my Listing Concierge platform and am now ready to upload them to long-term storage. Well, let's go back to CB Desk. Don't need this anymore, don't need this anymore, don't need that anymore. Let's go back into, and I don't need that anymore. We're going to click on Office 365 and email. Stay signed in with my CB NorCal. I am going to click now on OneDrive. As I noted, OneDrive is the cloud storage provider given to you from Microsoft. It's a part of your ASP. You don't have to use OneDrive. You can use iCloud, you can use Dropbox, you can use whatever your business is currently using. This is just the example I'm going over for because it is right here. Once you click on OneDrive, you will see your OneDrive storage space. Now, I already have stuff in here because mine is set to mirror to my computer. Yours is probably going to look blank. So just a quick overview of the layout. What you've got here is just like any other file explorer you will look at. Here are all of the files that are saved within the system. You can toggle to select all. You can select individuals. You can select multiples. Selecting files will allow you to move files, delete files, alter them in bulk. You've got object name right here, the date they were modified, who modified them, the amount of files that are in there, and the status of the share. Everything you upload will default to private. If you share a file with someone, like if you're working with another agent on a co-list or you have a marketing person you're sharing things with, that's where these will show as shared, and you can see who is modifying what and when. On your left here, you've got a menu. Again, access to shared libraries that you are a part of. Otherwise, it's just your files, your recycled files, recent things that you've opened, etc. New, self-explanatory. You can create new things within the system. Upload, we'll get to in just a sec. Sync and automate, you don't have to worry about. Those are bigger topics for a different day. And sort. Sort will allow you to view these however you would like to view them. And you can choose to see them as lists, compact lists, or tiles. All of that being said, let's go ahead and upload my file. Like I said, everything's set, everything's been saved, everything's been organized. All I have to do now that I'm in here is click upload, click folder, and I need to choose that folder that I made, which was on my desktop, and it's my Listing Concierge assets. Once I've selected it, I hit upload, and just like that, everything will start. Confirm that I want to upload, and you'll immediately see a status bar pop up right here. We can click on it to see all of the items in progress. And if we scroll down to L, we can see Listing Concierge assets a few seconds ago, and everything will begin to populate within that system. And that is it. Everything is now saved on your hard drive for redundancy purposes. You don't have to keep it there once this upload has finished, because now everything will be stored here in your cloud storage server. But it's up to you whether you want that redundancy or not. I am going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and open the floor to any questions. I will first start by checking the chat bar, but feel free to unmute yourselves if you have anything you would like to ask. Let's see here. Thank you, Joanne. I appreciate the feedback, as well as Elaine. Thank you. I am glad you guys both found this helpful. Is there anyone that has any questions about the stuff I just went over? Anything at all? Feel free to either utilize the chat or unmute yourself and speak. I will put 30 seconds on the clock. Well, that's good. Hopefully that means everybody's got a good grasp of what we went over today. As I noted, right, this doesn't have to be overwhelming. It's something that you can very readily schedule and have done. I did one listing and got all of the important assets out of it in less than a half hour. So if you guys block off an hour per week, even if you've got a listing in here, you can be done before the end of the month, no problem. You've got a fantastic team of marketing specialists like myself and SSAs throughout all of our regions that are able to assist you. Please reach out to any of us if you have questions or you need further help. I will post a recap that includes all of the stuff I went over, including a recording to this video that you can utilize for yourself to review and reference.